Mr. Assessment here. Let's do some math. I've written a fact family here. 6 times something equals 780. Well, that same something times 6 equals 780. That's the multiplication versions. Let's look at the division versions. 780 divided by 6 equals something, and 780 divided by something equals 6. How could I figure out that something? I'm going to show you long division today, which is a great way to take a large number, a dividend here, and divide it down piece by piece, step by step, in an easy way with smaller numbers to get to our unknown value here. So we're going to look at that. I've rewritten this division question, or this division equation up here as 780 divided by 6 equals something. That's a rewritten version of this problem right here. 780 divided by 6 equals something. I've rewritten as long division. Notice the order is different here. 780 is now under this bracket here, and this is going to be where we divide it. Our large number that we're beginning with is a dividend. It's called a dividend. 780 is our dividend here. Divisor is the number that is doing the dividing. We are dividing by 6. Now these three terms for a division equation are terms you're going to need this year and well into the future for years to come. And so it's great to pay attention to these words. The result or the answer will be called the quotient. The quotient's the result of a division problem. Let's make sure we've got those terms since we're going to need to know them for a long time. I've rewritten them here. We start with our dividend, we divide by the divisor, and that gives us the quotient. Or in this number problem right here, 21 is our dividend, our starting amount. We're dividing by 7, our divisor, to get to our quotient of 3. So now let's look at how we perform long division. 780 divided by 6. Now you might see something on the right side of the screen. I might want to give it away now a little bit right here. I've got a lot of dots. You can count them all if you would like. Check this out. I've got a little array right here, and that array gives us 10 dots. And I've got them in groups. That's 20, so we could count by 20, 40, 60, 81. So that group right there is 100. And how many of those do I have? Well, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then I've got 80 right there. And that's our 780. We're going to divide by 6. What does divide by 6 mean? It means two things, and I love thinking about it either way, depending on which makes more sense. When we divide, we can divide into groups that size or that many groups. So we could divide it by groups of 6. We could look right here. How many groups of 6 dots? That's just pulling out just 6 dots at a time. How many groups do we have here? We have a lot. Or you could split it into 6 groups and see how many dots are in each group. It's a great way to think about this. Now let's take a look here at how we perform this step. I've got 780 divided by 6. How does 780 get divided by 6? Well, let's just take it one step at a time. It's a great thing about long division. 6 goes into 7 how many times? It fits one time, and I get to record that right up here. 6 goes into 7 one time. Well, what is 6 times 1, or 1/6? It's just 6. We're going to subtract that from our hundreds place here. 7 minus 6 equals 1. We bring down the next number, 8 right here. 6 goes now into both these digits. We had the leftover. We brought down the next number. 6 goes into 18 how many times? It goes in 3 times. 6 times 3, what is 3 6s? It's 18. This is working out nicely for us. We have nothing left over. How about this 0? We bring down the 0 now. How many times does 6 go into 0? It doesn't. So are we all done? No, we're not all done. We need to record that it didn't go in 0 times, or that it only went in 0 times. So we put that result right up here. And that's how many times. So 130, does that make any sense? Well, let's go back to what division means. Groups of 6 or 6 groups. If I pulled out 6 at a time, would I have 130 groups? It seems like so much, doesn't it? Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I'm going to have a lot of groups. And so I could see that working. Or if I just split it all into 6 equal groups, the same size is really important. Would I have 130 dots in there? I could see that happening. Also, we could check it with multiplication. Remember our fact families. If this is true, it's going to satisfy all 4 equations. So is 6 times 130 780? That's something that you could check right there. 130 times 6, and you could perform that to check. Well, this problem worked out nicely. We had a nice 0 at the end. We had nothing left over right here. Oh, it's a little smiley face. Isn't that fun? Well, what happens if we do have a leftover? We're going to take a look at that now. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. There's something else with this problem. Let's go through it. 185 divided by 8 is how I say that. We say this first, even though it's in the bracket. So from there, we have 8 going into 1. How many times does 8 go into 1? Well, it doesn't fit now. So what do? Do we just skip it and go to the next one? 8 into 8 goes in 1 time? No, that's not correct. This is what we do. We look at both of these numbers together. We haven't fit it into that 1 yet. We need to fit it in there first. So 8 going into 18. How many times does 8 go into 18? Well, it goes in twice, because 8 times 2 is 16. And I record my 16 right down here. We're going to subtract that amount. 8 minus 6 equals 2. 1 minus 1 equals 0. Our next step is bring down. 8 into 25 now. How many 8s go into 25? I know 8 times 3 is very close. 24. 5 take away 4 is 1. 2 minus 2 is 0. Now this 1, I have nothing left to bring down. I can't bring anything down. I can't add a 0 there to bring it down. That would change the problem. So what do I have with this? Well, for now, it's enough to say I have a leftover. I have a remainder. I have R1. And that R stands for remainder, which means you have a little bit left over. And so remainder is a way that we can record that it did not divide in equally. We had a little bit left over. And in future lessons and future grades, you're going to do something more with this remainder. But for now, it's enough to know that you had the leftover and you can record it like that.